restrict you from scheduling. You will see all the roles that he can put onto a developer. As an administrator, he can do all that. He can do the he can do managing users. He can manage users by by while when they create, he is the person who adds them to the administrator console, so that only their projects and their objects, excuse me, their objects, everything reflect on the web administrator screen. So he will take care about publishing batch jobs and real-time services via web services. Web services is actually the newest in the recent releases. Web services, the name itself implies that we are talking about something based over the web. So a web service can send you a request or receive a request, and it can kick the job based on the web service request. You can integrate with any other platform. So if at all, let us say you can write a web service which can trigger a job taking an input from a Salesforce.com platform. It can actually talk to any other platform if you have a web service. Web service is again a program. It is kind of a Java or a J2E program which can go and talk to a different platform. Summary report. Finally, after everything is published from the same central management console, where if you have permissions, you can go and check for this summary report. So this is one of the summary report which we have seen, saying address code summary. What is the address validation summary? How are they doing? Is it too bad that the address are getting claimed with too many? Or what is the percentage of the address? You can always monitor everything from your web management console. So the more important thing for us is designer. So let us concentrate and focus on designer. The designer is the development tool, which is a, I mean, when we say local repository and designer, they are both tightly coupled. Repository is the database terminology. Designer is actually the 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 GUI part of it. I mean, the developer part, the developer component is the designer. You are going to create a designer or a local repository, only then you can log in as a designer and then start working there. Each and every step that is performed by a designer, each click of a mouse, each movement, everything is monitored and captured into the database. So designer is kind of an empty page, a white paper, where you can draw your pictures, write something, whatever you wanted to do, you can do on the designer. To define data management application that consists of data mappings, transformations, and control logic. You use the designer, or it enables the developers to define data management applications that consists of data mapping, transformations, and control logic. So you have all the mappings that you can do in the designer. You can apply more than one transformations, and you can put some business logic. Transformations. Let us throw some light on transformations. Always we were telling extract, transform, and load. Can one of you tell me what kind of transformations do you have in this? Do you expect, guys? Uh, what is it? Yeah, I mean, filter and SQL transform, we cannot call them as transforms actually. I mean, the literal term for them in here is transform, but in general sense, why don't you say what is a transformation? What a transformation means? Forget about data services. Wha- Yeah, a transformation, you can say it can transform from one form to other form. Like daytime, you are kind of an executive with an black suit and a very formal dress. You'll transform yourself at night time into definitely a different dress. So that is kind of a transformation. So to achieve that kind of a transformation, we are using these transforms. So to put in a technical sense, you can use a transformation to convert the currency. You can definitely convert the currency from American dollar to Australian dollar to Canadian dollar to anything else. That is a transformation. that is actually required by the business. So you do the transformation. So when you talk in a designer, what kind of transformations you have are definitely subjective only to data services. But in the ETL, extract, transform and load, the transform part is the actual business logic part. So I'm trying to, why I am trying to mention about that is there can be a little bit of confusion thinking so these are only the transforms in the world. No, a transform is a generic thing which you do, but you are using here an object that is being provided by business objects, data services, as a predefined function that you can use to perform the transform. So do not think if we say transform at ETL level is different than the transformation which you are doing here. Transformation is kind of an equipment or it is kind of a function which you can use to actually transform. So definitely there are only limited transforms in data services, but if you want more transformations, yes, you can actually write your own transformations. So we'll come to that in a bit, but for now, a designer is the application where you can do data mappings, transformations and control logs. So use the designer to create applications containing workflows and data flows. So we are going to look at the designer in other maybe like 10-15 minutes where you're going to see that everything in a designer is called as an object, whether it is a workflow or a data flow or a project. Everything is commonly called as an object. It is like all of us are called homo sapiens or humans. It's the same way they are all objects. So to use the designer, create objects, then drag, drop, and configure them by selecting icons in the flow diagram, tables, layouts, and nested workflow pages. The objects in the designer represent metadata. So all we are trying to tell is to use the designer, create the object, then drag, drop, and configure them by selecting icons in flow diagram. Like when you log into the designer, actually you'll see all these icons. You can actually how you create the objects as a source, as a target, everything you'll see as part of the designer. So we'll understand more about creating these objects when you actually look into the designer instead of being theoretical. But definitely you need all these information, guys. What definition wise you need all this, you'll have to understand each and every component. And why am I putting more efforts on designer is this is the actual area which you are going to work on, I'm going to concentrate on. So the designer interface allows you to manage metadata stored in a repository. From designer, you can also trigger the job server to run your jobs for initial application testing. So you can actually run your own job, whichever you have built from the designer itself. You don't need to go to web management console. You can do a trial or initial run from your designer itself. So a designer is the actual core component of data services where you will be doing everything. You are going to define every business rule only in the designer. The only part which is missing from designer is scheduling. Scheduling can be done only by web administrator or the central management console. You cannot schedule a job from a designer. Other than that, you can do everything. This is the one which actually does the business, and the administrator is the one who will pose as if so he is doing everything. So in the short demo on a designer, first we are going to watch this demo actually. This is not like the previous demonstration. This is more important. So I will be narrating it, and what you will see is only the visual. So if you wanted to again go and look at it separately, yes, you can always look at it. It is available again on YouTube. So this is the initial short demo which I have put in. It is a 5 minutes demo which is available on YouTube. You can always go and see there. But let me talk about various components of designer because this is very important for us. This is the way you log into the designer. If you have business objects data services installed, you'll see the designer. This is the first page where you'll see project, create project, data store and everything. So I was talking about the distributed architecture or the entire architecture of data services from which Designer is the important component. I was showing you the project area. To show you to do the ETL process, you'll have to go and do it in your project area. You'll have to define each and everything in your project area, and the right hand side is the place where you can work. Finally, this is the dashboard which comes out of web administrator. But that was the play area. Whatever is running behind the screen, you see that is the developers play area. And here you have all the objects that I was talking about, the data flows, workflows, and the project jobs, everything is in that corner. So this is actually the intention of this particular demo was to introduce you to SAP data services and show the designer component as the main thing. You have you have more than that. We are going to look into it. It was a very short demo, but it will give you just an overview how to log into a designer and play with it. But we are going to today actually look into the reality, not the videos anymore. So at this point, do you have any questions, guys? Next section will be logging into the designer, and we'll try to understand each component of the designer and start designing our jobs. At this point, do you have any questions? Your questions can be about repository, administrator, designer. So let us come one by one. Do you have any questions on repository? Do you understand the concept of repositories? No voice. Guys, are you still alive? Still in class? Hello? Thank you, guys. I woke you from a deep sleep. Guys, any question on repository? So do you understand what is a repository? Perfect. So if everyone is saying no, I will ask the next thing. Do you have any questions on administrator? Okay. An administrator is definitely a separate role in an organization. The administrator I am mentioning about is beyond the central management console. An administrator is the person who will install, maintain patches. He is the person who creates users, give you access. Everything is done by an administrator. But not every company maintains an administrator. The reason being, it is again an expensive, resource expensive thing, right? So they will ask the developers to do everything. But administrator is the actual person who will take care of every object. He is the owner of the central repository. He is the owner of central management console, where he is the person who actually schedules a job, who runs a job, who tests the performance of a job. Everything at a high level, he does it. So the role of administrator in an organization is very important. For data services, yes, you need an administrator role. But if there are only two developers and it is a small project, it is not worth it maintaining an administrator. So it is a misnomer. I use it for the central management console because a console is a play area where a person can go and play. So I'm calling the administrator. The reason being, you are the person who is going to access the central management console and do all this. Did you get it? So any questions on designer? Mhm. Go ahead. Administrator is a role. Management console is the application.